Hello everybody and welcome to my review of the very fun and addicting game Flip Trickster. This mobile game isn't brand new, but it's gained a lot of popularity after its recent update, which featured some minor bug fixes and of course the new level, The Island. The Island gained a lot of hype. I've heard a lot about this, seen some videos on it. A lot of people are complaining about the difficulty. I think there is definitely a high difficulty to this new level, but I think that's part of what makes it so much fun and adds a lot of replay value, which is something I'll come back to later. The basic gist of this game is that it's a parkour game. Each level has 6 stages, and then a final stage where you have to replay all of those 6 stages in one. Each stage has a target and some sort of gimmick, something to jump over, something to jump off of, and you have to get the highest score, which the score is a combination of your flip, your ability to land, and where you land. If you land inside the green square, it's plus 1.2, yellow 1.5, and red times 2. A minor gripe that I've noticed with this game is that to get the highest score, you have to land in the red pretty much no matter what. I've noticed, not so much in the beginning, but towards the end, it's like there's no room for error. You have to be perfect, which I think is a little much to ask, because if the developers decide to make more levels, you can't really make it much more difficult than it already is. So that might be something they'll have to tweak if the developers want to make more levels. But this is the second level that we're seeing here, the mountain. It's very fun. The gym, I think, was a little oversimplified, but it's a great way to get used to the game. The second level here, I think you're starting to see a lot more bigger jumps, and you can get used to doing more flips and getting the higher scores, which you'll definitely have to get used to for the second half of the game. So these first 2 levels are just kind of a taste of what you're going to be seeing, and it doesn't really offer a whole lot of challenge. The objectives, which is a big part of the game, they're pretty easy in the first half, but towards the end, it gains a lot of difficulty. There's a steep learning curve towards the second half of the game. One thing I'd like to focus on right now are the challenges. Some of the challenges are really fun. Each stage essentially has, they're made up of 2 types of challenges. You have objective challenges, like right here, do a flip inside the room, or right here, if you land inside the bus stop, it's called wait for the bus. That's a pretty fun one. Just missed that one right there. And I make up my own objectives, like try to land on the edge here, right on the ledge. That's pretty fun. But each level has score-based objectives as well as objective-based. One of my favorites is in this stage here, or should I say the final stage of this Funhouse level, when it's called Don't Touch the Lava, which is exactly how it sounds. And you have to go through every single of the 6 stages without touching the ground. You have to land on the truck, I think 2 or 3 times, and then land on different parts of the house. It's really fun. This stage that you're seeing right here is probably the craziest stage in the game, just for its height. You see a lot of times that your character will glitch out. I think it's the amount of calculated force that you see. I don't know if that was intended with the original make of the game, because often you'll see the character fly out in all these crazy different shapes. This is where the game gets a little bit weird for me. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love this game, but I think parts of it get to be too random and really hard to get really good at. This level is probably my least favorite, just because if you're trying to redo it over and over again for the goals, you have to time it perfectly so you don't hit those propellers. So I tried not to spend too much time on that one. The ship is a funny one for me, because everybody with this new update has been talking about how difficult the island is, but I think the ship is easily the most difficult one. The problem with this one is in the final stage, some of the objectives are really difficult, like the one where you're only allowed to flip, you're only allowed to land, rather, inside the yellow and red squares, making the target a lot smaller. And also, some of these, like this one here, where you have to go inside and then land perfectly, it becomes really difficult, and if you mess up even once, you have to repeat the whole level. So that one, I think the objective where you have to finish in or land inside the orange square, I think that's probably the hardest level in the whole game, because you got to do it 6 times in a row. This final level here is the island, the one that a lot of people have been talking about the difficulty. I've had a lot of fun with it. This is probably one of my favorite level stages right here, trying to do the double backflip onto the pier. I had fun with this whole level. I think if the developers make another update, I hope they work on some of the kinks with this level, because I noticed with a lot of these, probably the last 3 jumps here, the last 3 stages here, rather, there's just too much force. Like right here, this level right here, it's hard that the part of the target is blocked by the, I guess you'd call them seats of the canoe. But also, I think even when you land perfectly, as I'll try to demonstrate, it seems like you have too much force, and most of the time, even if you land on your feet, like it looks like I did right there, you'll just end up bouncing up. It is possible. I mean, I've beaten all the objectives in this game, so like right there, it is possible to land it. It just takes a lot of trial and error, as do a lot of the levels in this game. And this is similar to the Funhouse level with the crazy amount of height. You can do some crazy flips, so that one was fun. Another part of the game that I didn't really look at until after I'd beaten it was the store portion. I think they really did all that they could. I mean, I guess a future update they could do clothes, but right here you see all the different types of hats and the Viking cap. I made a video on that. That takes almost all of the currency in the game. I think as far as hats, they tried to be creative, but it's not really part of the game that I focus too much on. I think this is a great game, and I think it has a lot of replay value, and I hope that the developers decide to make another update and hopefully another level, because I've been having a lot of fun with it. I highly recommend this game.